So if you're working in health IT right now,
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you're navigating a major EHR integration or an upgrade, you know this feeling,
Oh, absolutely.
that sinking, icy panic when a whole new layer of tech, in this case AI, is just dropped onto your already overflowing plate.
Right.
You know your job. You're a solid analyst or a tester or an architect. But suddenly, you feel like you're just constantly playing catch-up.
It's the ultimate pressure cooker. The stakes are clinical, the deadlines are, completely non-negotiable, and leadership is suddenly chanting this mantra.
We must leverage AI efficiency.
Exactly. But for the person on the ground, that just means getting demands, not practical instructions.
We're going to talk about the experience of one health IT professional, Devity, whose story just perfectly captures
Yeah.
this scary moment. She was caught in a huge EHR project, high visibility.
Mm-hmm.
She knew the workflows, she knew the clinical needs, but all she heard was that constant demand. Use AI for this, use AI for that.
And the irony is, the demands were legitimate, but the approach was just totally flawed. No one was actually showing her how to use these tools in such a regulated environment.
They were just telling her to produce these really sophisticated things with a tool she'd never been trained on.
Right.
And think about the specific tasks. Things like use AI to draft your business requirements document and get it out by end of day.
Oh, yeah. Or the really high-risk ones, like go use AI to check your HL7 messages.
Yes, against custom interfaces.
Yeah.
And the classic, you should be using AI to generate all your user acceptance test cases.
Those are the pressure points. And when you're staring at a complex document like a BRD or, an intricate HL7 message, not using the tool everyone's talking about, it just immediately creates this professional deficit.
So our mission here is to really unpack Devi's journey from that paralysis to, well, to real productivity. We're going to pull out the exact fears she had, the practical guidance she got, and the immediate career benefits she saw.
Okay, let's start with that psychological wall. Because Devi was a top performer, she knew HL7, she knew clinical context.
She was good at her job.
Very good. But when AI came into the picture, she hit a complete stop. Her core fear wasn't, will this project work? It was, what if I misuse this and look incompetent?
That fear of misuse and incompetence, that's the real career killer, isn't it? It just leads to freezing up.
Absolutely. People would rather just avoid the tool entirely.
Right.
And she broke this down into what she called her 3 terrors.
Okay, what was the first one? I think I can guess.
Looking stupid. That's pretty universal. But the second one was so specific to health IT.
Which was?
The terrifying idea of actually breaking something. Breaking a complex clinical workflow or misconfiguring a critical interface like a lab result feed because she misunderstood an AI instruction.
And that's a completely legitimate high-stakes concern. We're not talking about drafting a marketing email here.
Not at all. This is patient safety, data integrity.
So what was the third terror?
The third was this belief that she was rapidly becoming irrelevant. She was worried she was becoming the person who, should know this by now.
The AI identity crisis.
That's it. She saw AI as this different universe, a place where other people belonged, even though she had all this deep domain expertise. The new tool just made her feel like a rookie.
And the core anxiety really wasn't about getting it wrong. It was the fear that everyone else would get ahead first.
Exactly. That while she was stuck panicking, everyone else would figure it out, leaving her behind.
So she sought out guidance, a structured path, and the first step was a huge mindset correction.
Yeah.
What was the principle that finally flipped the script for her?
The mantra was powerful. It was simple. AI is only dangerous when you don't know how to use it. Once you understand how to guide it, AI becomes the most powerful assistant you'll ever have.
That reframes it immediately. From a source of anxiety to a source of, well, leverage.
It does.
And it tackles that myth that you have to be, a machine learning engineer to use these things.
That is the absolute biggest misconception. You don't need a PhD in AI theory. What you need to master is prompt engineering, but tailored to your domain. You need to learn what to ask, how to structure the prompts, and then how to rigorously validate the output.
Okay, but let's talk about the friction here. Because health IT is so regulated, you can't just throw protected health information into a public LLM, right? That's where the fear of misuse becomes very practical.
That's a critical question, and it's exactly why the instruction has to be structured. The guidance she got was really clear. You never, ever input actual patient data or proprietary mapping docs into a public model.
So how do you use it then? if all the important info is siloed?
You leverage your knowledge about the data.
Huh?
You use AI for logic validation for pattern recognition based on generic non-PHI templates.
So you could give it a scenario.
Exactly. You ask it, given the standard HL7 V2.5 OBX segment structure, draft 3 potential formatting errors a lab result might encounter. You're using AI to structure your thinking, not to process live data.
It's an intellectual assistant, not a data repository.
That's the critical distinction. Your 10 years of HL7 knowledge suddenly become the most valuable input the AI can get. The whole process she learned was tiered, Start with foundations, then move to applying it on non-sensitive project stuff. That took away the terror of breaking something.
Okay, let's get to the payoff. Because the real measure is the results. And the transformation for her was, what, almost immediate?
It was. We're talking tangible wins in the very first week. The efficiency gains weren't just small, they were transformative.
So that BRD, the business requirements document, she drafted a complex outline in minutes instead of hours. How?
She used a structured prompt. She didn't just ask, write me a BRD. She asked it to act as a senior health IT analyst and gave it a specific scope, like integrating a new patient portal.
So she gave it context.
All the context. She told it to include standard regulatory headers and requirements for auditing. The AI didn't write the requirement for her. It gave her the structure she needed to fill in the blanks.
That's leverage. It saves you from staring at a blank page.
Yeah.
What about something like a data flow diagram?
Same idea. She fed it the sequence of clinical events, registration, provider order, resulting EHR ingestion, and asked it to review the sequence for potential bottlenecks.
So it became a sounding board for her architectural design.
Yes.
Now, the really technical one, validating an HL7 message, an ORU message. This is where most people would freeze.
And this is a perfect example of how she applied her own expertise. She used a sanitized example message, no real patient data, just placeholders. And she asked the AI to cross-reference that structure against the generic HL7 standard for an observation result, specifically asking about the validity of, say, the OBX5 segment.
Which is where the actual lab value usually is.
Right, so she could spot if her local mapping was fundamentally flawed before it ever got to a tester. That saves hours of manually reading standard documentation.
Wow. And finally, for the testers out there, generating UAT scenarios.
Yep. She gave the AI a complex functional requirement, like the system must prevent a user from ordering a controlled substance without a co-signature, then asked it to generate 10 clear, executable UAT scenarios.
Positive, negative edge cases.
All of it. Permissions, error messages, everything.
I can just imagine what the team thought. They see this level of detailed output coming from her. They must have thought she was working 80-hour weeks.
They literally thought she had been studying all weekend. But she said she finally learned how to use AI like a companion, not a mandate.
That was the emotional turning point, right? When it stopped feeling like a threat and started feeling like leverage.
Yes. The big realization, I wasn't behind, I was just untrained.
That is the paradigm shift. She thought success meant working harder, memorizing every single standard.
And the guidance she got really crystallized the new reality for her. You need to know how to think and let AI support your execution.
It's about asking better questions.
Exactly. Success today isn't having all the answers memorized. It's asking the highest quality questions and using tools to execute the logic you already have.
So how did this newfound confidence change things for her in, say, high-level meetings?
It fundamentally changed her. She's now leading technical conversations because she can validate her thought process in real time.
So in a meeting, someone throws out a tough question. Where does this lab result originate, and how do we ensure the integrity of OBX5?
Before, she would have panicked, worried she hadn't memorized the latest mapping doc. Now, she uses her AI companion securely to instantly cross-reference her logic against best practices.
So she can answer with total confidence.
She's not just stating facts, she's demonstrating architectural clarity. And of course, leadership noticed.
What was the feedback?
Her manager just said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Learning this structured way to use AI wasn't just helpful, it was defined as the key to the next level of her career.
Which brings us back to that huge fear that AI is replacing jobs.
And that's the misconception that causes all the paralysis. The truth is, AI replaces tasks, repetitive, time-consuming tasks like drafting and basic validation.
It doesn't replace the person who understands the clinical workflow, the regulations.
The context, you can't replace that.
So the real risk isn't AI taking your job. The real risk is not learning how to use the tool that can do 80% of your grunt work in 5 minutes.
Precisely. The people who adopt this early, they're the ones rising faster, getting the better roles, and earning the trust of leadership. They're communicating like architects, even if their title is still analyst. The caution is really stark. Someone who knows how to use AI will absolutely outpace you if you wait.
That's the message then, for anyone listening who recognizes themselves in this story, who feels that fear. Don't let it make decisions for you.
Exactly. Every health IT professional, analysts, clinicians, testers, architects needs to learn this now, not next quarter, now.
She talked about all the time she wasted feeling overwhelmed and behind. And that feeling was just because she hadn't found the right path to learn.
And if you're listening and you recognize that story, if you're tired of feeling overwhelmed by demands to use a tool you haven't mastered, this is your moment.
The technological wave of AI won't pass you by.
Unless you let it. If you choose to learn how to guide it, how to validate its output, and integrate it into the workflows you already master, you will never be behind again. You'll just be leveraging the most powerful assistant you can have to define the entire next level of your career.